Hey, everybody, thanks for being on time. We'll be getting started in just a few minutes. Everybody, please put your phone on mute. Thank you. Hey, everybody, we still got like 4 minutes. So if you got a friend or a family member, um, please send them over the link. I'm about to go through a great training on hedge funds and trust funds, how you actually start a trust fund, how you actually get involved in a hedge fund. If I had known this information 20 years ago, I'd probably be a billionaire right now. So I'm about to share some important, great information that most people charge for. A lot of my millionaire and billionaire friends charge for this information, but I'm going to share it with you today for free. So make sure that you invite somebody that's in your immediate circle. Testing. Can everybody hear me? Type of one in the chat if you can hear me. All right, great. All right, it's Sunday. Type of one in the chat if you're gonna be the first millionaire in your family. Type of one in the chat if you are committed to building generational wealth. Type of one in the chat if you go own acres and land. Type of one in the chat if you are committed to changing your lineage. Type of one in the chat if you are committed to attracting wealthy relationships. Type of one in the chat if you go own a Rolls Royce before you die. Type of one in the chat if you go own an apartment complex. Type of one in the chat if you go pass down generational wealth. Type of one in the chat if you go be debt free. Type of one in the chat if you go own a Lamborghini. Type of one in the chat if they go know your name in 7 generations. Type of one in the chat if you go have a trust fund. Type of one in the chat if you go be an investor in a hedge fund. Type of one in the chat if you go build houses from the ground up. Type of one in the chat if you go have an extensive DECA portfolio. Type of one in the chat if you go own Airbnb in the next 12 months. Type of one in the chat if you go start a rental car business in the next 12 months. Type of one in the chat if you go have a holding company to own all of your businesses. Type of one in the chat if you go create trust fund babies in your family. All right, that took a lot to all say at one time, but thanks everybody for being on time. I see I'm in the right room. That's why I do that. I do that everywhere I go. I want to make sure I'm in the right room. I want to make sure that it's ones in the chat. That means that I'm in a room full of millionaires. That means I'm in a room full of world changers. That means I'm in a room full of people that are committed to owning assets instead of liabilities. All right, so before I get started, I want to know what cities are represented right now. So type your city in the chat. All right, right now I'm in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We opening up a franchise tomorrow for the 1% Club. So I'm in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I see Philadelphia. I see Indianapolis. I see Birmingham, Alabama, San Francisco, Detroit. I see Brooklyn, Boston. I see St. Louis. I see Springfield, Missouri, Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, Baltimore, Maryland. All right, come on, give me 2 more cities. I see Los Angeles, Cincinnati. All right, I got people from everywhere. Chicago, Chi-Town, San Diego, Oakland. I see a lot of my mentees in the room. I'm very proud today. Again, today is the Masterclass. You could be anywhere else. You could be at the game. You could be watching the game. You could be at Sunday Fun Day. You could be at a restaurant, but you hear what Coach Damont learning about hedge funds and trust funds. All right, so I commend y'all. Y'all definitely are the 1%, because the 99%, they somewhere having fun. The 99%, they somewhere spending money they don't have. The 99%, they somewhere looking for clothes and buying liabilities and trying to spend money that doesn't even exist yet. So I'm glad to see that I'm in a room full of 1%ers. So we about to jump in, get started. Again, I see a lot of my mentees. I see a lot of the 1% Club in here. I'm very proud that you guys are supporting this class today. So let's jump in. So today, I'm gonna be teaching in this masterclass about trust funds and hedge funds. Just a brief synopsis before I get started. If I had known the information that I'm about to share with you, I would be a billionaire. I made my first million at 24 years old, but nobody never taught me about what a trust fund was, how to create a trust fund, how to protect my assets, how to borrow against the trust fund. Nobody never taught me what a hedge fund was. I didn't learn about a hedge fund until I had made multiple millions of dollars. I didn't know about a trust until I had made multiple millions of dollars and had lost multiple millions of dollars because nobody taught me how to protect it. I used my own money. I didn't know anything about how to use a hedge fund. So today I'm going to be showing you how you can leverage a hedge fund, how you can leverage a trust fund, and how you can build generational wealth, true generational wealth. So again, you still got a few minutes to share this link and to invite a friend. Dan Pena says, you are a product of the top 10 people in your life. So show me your friends, he said, and I'll show you your future. So if you hang around people that are not willing to invest with you, that are not willing to grow with you, that are not willing to unlearn and learn with you, then you might need a new set of friends. You should have at least 5 friends on this Zoom right now. All right. So again, I'm gonna show you how to make an extra 6 figures a year by leveraging buying, building, and flipping houses part-time. I'm gonna show you how you can put $1,000 into a property and how you can use a hedge fund to make 6 figures. All right, I'm doing this every day. This is how I built a massive amount of wealth, and I'm about to show you how to do that as well. Again, we just talked about the 1%, and we just talked about the 99%. Average people right now, they're watching Netflix, they're partying, they're playing some type of game, or they're working. There's nothing wrong with working, but if you're working a 9 to 5, you should have some type of level of investing. You could work, even if you work in your business, you could work 20 hours a day and still never build wealth. You're not going to build wealth with a business. You're not going to build wealth with a 9 to 5. You build wealth by investing. And that's what I'm going to share with you here today. Nipsey Hussle, who I love, he said, you have to mentally reprogram yourself for success. So today is reprogramming. This is reprogramming. We're literally taking the old stuff that we've learned, and we're going to reprogram our mindset to be able to learn some new information to where we can buy, build, flip, and protect. Buy, build, flip, protect. I want you to write that down. That's how you properly build wealth. Buy with real estate. Buy, build, flip, protect. All right. And I'm gonna break that down for you in just a minute. So before I get started, I want you to get rid of any distractions. I want you to make sure that you got a pen and notebook or your phone where you can put notes into it. This is a class, and I want to make sure that you get all the information that you need. Again, I made my first million at 24 years old. 90% of millionaires come from real estate. So you're gonna hear a lot about real estate today. I'm talking about real estate because I want you to understand that buying a house personally for you and your family, that's fine. But buying a house and buying it, building it, flipping it, all of that, that's where you build massive success. You could literally become a millionaire. Somebody asked me, that was like, can I become a millionaire in the next 3 months? I said, well, it's gonna take a lot of work to be a millionaire in the next 90 days because we literally got to deprogram everything that you have, everything that you're doing right now. And we literally got to make sure that your foundation and your structure is ready to become a millionaire, so that you don't just become a millionaire, but you actually keep the million that you make. But I'm building millionaires in 12 months. And the way I'm doing it is real estate. Like I told people, I've been in stocks. I have stocks. There's nothing wrong with stocks, but I've been in stocks. I've had lots of investments. I've done crypto, but real estate to me is the most secure investment. And I'm gonna show you why in just a few minutes, but it's a reason why it builds 90% of millionaires. And you may say, Coach, I don't really have a lot of money right now. I'm just here for the information. I'm not coming to ask you for no money. I'm giving you information. And I think with that information, once you get this information, you'll realize that you don't need as much money as you think you need to get into real estate or to start investing or to open up a trust fund or to be a part of a hedge fund. You don't need as much money as you think you need. The amount of money that you spend, let's go through this. How much money do you think if you was to liquidate your closet and take back everything to the store that you bought in your closet? I want you to put in the chat, how much money do you think is in your closet right now? I want you to add up your shoes, your belts, your designer handbags, all the shirts. I want you to add up all the jewelry. I want you to add up everything. Tell me, if you was to get coverage right now on everything in your closet, what would you tell them that it was worth? $1,800, $1 million. All right. There is no right or wrong answer. 150,000, 1,000, 5,700, 20,000. There is no right or wrong answer. That just lets you know what you have now. But if you had put that into an asset, which clothes and material things are not assets, as we know, if you had put that into an asset, then I literally would probably be in a room full of millionaires right now, right? If you had put that into an asset. But I'm not even telling you to put all of that money into an asset. I'm telling you to leverage credit and to leverage hedge funds and to leverage real estate. All right, 200,000, 30,000, 150,000. All right, y'all some designer wearing people in here. All right. So again, now we got to start building our legacies. Our legacies is stuff that we can pass down. That stuff in our closet, don't nobody want that stuff when we die. They're gonna throw that stuff away, they're gonna give it to Goodwill. But property, land, real estate, apartment complexes, information, those are all things that we could pass down to the next generation. All right, so Warren Buffett, he said that he's still paying a lower tax rate than his secretary. Why? Because he leverages a trust. He leverages a trust fund. So I want to show you that in just a few minutes, but I'm gonna just go over, for those of you, if this is your first time seeing my face, I'm Coach Damont. I flipped over 100 houses, and I am one of the co-owners of the 1% Club. I have a car dealership in LA. I have a rental car business in Miami. I also build JETCARS, you know, those little things that drive on the water. I also have some of them, and I built them as well. I also have Airbnbs. So I've been doing Airbnbs for a long time, and I have 10 Airbnbs. I just acquired 30 acres of land, which I'll share with you in just a few minutes. So I'll be building on that land. I'm going to show you how I'm going to build on that land, how I'm going to leverage that land, and how I'm going to build over 100 houses on that land. Also showing my mentees how to do the same thing. They don't have to have 30 acres. They can just have a quarter of an acre. They can just have a corner. But I'm going to show you how you buy, build, flip, and protect. All right. So again, my name is Coach Damont, and you're going to hear a lot about me talking about a family trust. Everything I do is with a family trust, because I believe that every family, everybody should have a family trust. All right. So if you don't have a family trust on here, hopefully you will get it by the end of this meeting. But again, a family trust is going to give you a lot of layers of protection, and it's going to help. You can't even, we're talking about trust funds. You can't even start a trust fund without a family trust, without a trust. All right. So this is me. I actually did a TED Talk. I was blessed. And one of the things that I talked about was learning to unlearn. My billionaire mentor taught me, he said, Damont, if you want to go to another level, and if you want to actually be a billionaire like me, you got to unlearn all the stuff that your mama, your grandmama, father, everybody taught you. You got to relearn, and then you got to unlearn. You got to unlearn to relearn. All right. So hopefully I'm in a room full of people that are committed. All right. So before I jump in and get started, I want you to take a picture of this. For the first 30 people that take a picture of this and tag me on Instagram, I'm going to send you a free gift in the mail. All right. So I want you to tag me on Instagram, Coach Damont on Instagram. Take a picture of this. I'm going to smile. I'm going to put up a 1 for 1%. Take a screenshot. All right. And if you tag me for the first 30 people, when I get off this call, they have tagged me, I'm going to send you some apparel from the 1% Club clothing line. All right. So thank you for supporting. All right. So these are my two business partners, Tyree and Tedrick. We partnered together to merge the 1% Club. We have helped a lot of people, and will continue to help a lot of people. Our goal is to help over 100,000 families to set up a trust, to become debt free, to have great credit, to leverage what the elites do, and to build generations of wealth. Again, like I said, we cannot talk about building generational wealth and not talk about a structure. So the average life expectancy is 78 years old, while retirement age is 67, and we're trying to work 50 years and maybe enjoy 11. I decided at an early age that I'm not going to be a statistic. I'm not just going to work for massa and work for somebody else and not actually start building and start structuring my own wealth, because we're in a race that's been going for 500 years. My mentor told me. He said, so imagine you've been in the race for 500 years and you get in the race now. You're never going to catch up with the people that's been in the race for 500 years. The only thing that you can do is make sure that the people coming behind you are a little further ahead in the race. So if that's the case, I know we've been trained to say, oh, well, I got this house, or I got this life insurance policy, or you know what, I'm working hard. Working hard ain't gonna help the next generation coming behind you. A degree ain't gonna help the next generation coming behind you. Your house that the bank own is not going to help the generation coming behind you. They're probably not even gonna want that house. So I want to give you some fundable, actionable steps to be able to help you to get in a lane that I never even knew existed. All right. And so because I never knew existed, I never was a part of that group of people. I didn't start researching hedge funds. I didn't know what trust funds were. I didn't know what syndications were. I didn't know what any of these things were. I didn't know what a family bank was. I had made $1 million and didn't know what a family bank was. So I want to be able to share with you that information so that when you get beyond me, that you have that information. My mentor told me, he said, when you sit at the table, you need to be able to have educated conversations about finances and wealth, not just talking about current events and what other people are doing. You need to be able to know the things the actionable steps that it takes to make $1 million in 12 months, to keep $1 million, to transfer $1 million to the next generation. And again, maybe $1 million isn't your goal. Maybe it's just to be debt free. Maybe it's just to do one investment a year. Maybe it's just to learn some information. Maybe it's just to learn some information that you can share with your spouse or your children. I don't know what that is, but whatever it is, I pray that you get it today when you come here, right? So these are some of, again, everybody in the 1% Club, they all have trust. We've helped thousands of people set up trust and family trust. Everybody that joins the 1% Club has a trust. Even Gilly and Wallow, they're a part of the 1% Club. We were on the $1 million worth of game, but they also joined the 1% Club. They have trust as well. This is Darrell. Darrell, he is one of the youngest trustees inside of the 1% Club. He has a trust. He's setting up his trust and he's putting his fragrance line inside of his trust. He had, before DMX passed, he had partnered with DMX to start a fragrance line, which is held inside of Saks Fifth Avenue. This is Peebo. He's one of my mentees. He has a Harold's Chicken franchise that we're transferring over to the trust to then leverage a trust fund so that his children and his children's children and his children's children will be blessed from the fruit that he's bearing today. This is Pastor Terry Webster Sr. He's a pastor of a big church in Indianapolis, Indiana. He's one of my mentees, and he is learning how to leverage a family trust. This is Amari and Tyrone. I've been knowing Tyrone since he was born, known since he's a little baby, but they are some moguls, true moguls. They do real estate, and they have a show called Moguls in the Making. If you ever seen a video of me going viral, it was probably from their show, but they're doing exceptional things, but they have their trust set up and now working to learn how to use a trust fund. This is Brian Hooks from Three Strikes. He might be on here right now. I don't know. He always comes to my Zoom calls. And Kareem Grimes, he's on the show, All American. But again, they have trust. They're trustees of their own trust. So I'm going to pause and take a short break, like a 5-second break. But I want you to add up right now. I want you to add up and let me fix this. I want you to add up and I want to do the wealth test. All right. So hold on. Type in 1 in the chat if you're going to be the first millionaire in your family. Type in 1 in the chat if you if you committed to learning this information and sharing it with somebody in your family. Type in 1 in the chat if you are committed to ownership. Type in 1 in the chat if you are not thinking about buying clothes and shoes right now. You're thinking about buying land and stocks. Type in 1 in the chat if you are committed to being a trustee of your own trust. All right, I just fixed it. All right, so now I want you to take this test. If you've been to any of my classes, you might have taken it, but it always changes because we are always evolving and changing. So I want you to take this test and I want you to put the score inside of the chat. I want to know where you at. So if you own stocks, that's 5 points. if your stocks pay you dividends, any of you that have N1 finance accounts or any type of brokerage accounts that are my mentees, and your stocks pay you dividends, I don't care if it's $1, I don't care if it's 50 cents, I don't care if it's $100, I don't care what it is. Anytime you're paid out, that's a dividend. So that means you're making money for your money sitting for you. Grant Cardone said that he goes broke every year. He don't just look at his money in the bank or look at his money in investments or in his portfolio or in the equity of his houses. He goes broke. He goes and finds somewhere where that money goes and works for him. So if you own real estate, that's 8. If you started a business, that's 9. If you have an 80 paydex score, that's a business credit score, that's 5. If you have a written wealth plan, that's 2. If you have $10,000 in a savings account, that's 2. If you have a 750 credit score, that's 3. If you have a network of at least 100 plus people, that's 6. If you have a college degree, that's 1. If you have a retirement plan, that's 2. If you read 20 plus business books in the last year, that's 6. If you have other streams of passive income, that's 9. So I want to know the scores. All right, 1, 9. There is no, again, I don't want anybody to feel bad. This is an accountability call. I want you to wake up on this call. I want you to wake up. I'm not tearing you down. If you a 1, if you a 0, I used to be a 1, I used to be a 0. I used to be in bad shape. So again, 39. All right, I got some good scores coming in. 44. All right. 50. I got a 50. All right, 9. Somebody said they broke. It's okay. 29. I don't never want you to claim being broke. All right. I don't want you to claim that. I want you to say you on your way to wealth. You just in between. Is no broke. All right. I know. All right, let's go. All right. So let's get started. My name is Coach Damont, aka the Trust Fund Coach. And today I will be teaching you how a trust fund and a hedge fund can literally change your life and change your family. I've helped a lot of people change their lives and their lineage with a structure that involves a family trust. So I believe that every American needs a family trust. I don't care what your net worth is. I don't care what your financial situation is. 9 times out of 10, a family trust can literally change your life. So learn about it, and I'm going to be speaking a lot about it today. All right, so if you're young, if you're old, if you're married, if you're single, a trust can literally be the most powerful tool an instrument that you and your family will ever have. All right, so I suggest that you have an irrevocable trust. There's nothing wrong with a revocable trust, but it's used for different things. All right, so for today's lesson, I'm going to be teaching how an irrevocable trust can literally change your family. And I'm going to show you how to actually set up a trust fund and a hedge and be a part of a hedge fund. All right, so Coach Damont, what is a trust? Well, trust is simple. It's a contract. It's a legal contract. Well, I have an LLC. Well, LLC is governed by the government. A trust is not. All right, and the type of trust that I'm talking about is a private trust. So the private trust is based upon the constitutional law. So a trust is a legal entity and a contract that can be used to transfer and manage property or assets. All it needs to have is trustees and beneficiaries, which I'll break down in just a few minutes. All right, so somebody put in the chat and tell me, where do you classify yourself? All right, where do you classify yourself? Are you number 1? Are you number 2? Are you number 3? Number 1 is we the people. Number 2 is a state citizen. Which is number 3 is a state, a republic, blah blah blah. Number 4 is a United States citizen. Number 5 is a citizen of the United States. So if you have a social security number and a birth certificate, you are number 5. All right. So hopefully you put number 5. Now, if you're a voting citizen, you're number 5. A trust, when you actually learn about a trust, and some of you may already have a trust, but you need to fund it. So that's what we're going to talk about now. What happens and how do you fund a trust? What needs to be in a trust for you to fund it? And how do you leverage that trust after you fund it? All right, so once you get a trust, then that trust ranks number 2 as a state citizen, which is very powerful, right? So it's a trust is actually more powerful than you as a U.S. citizen, and it offers more layers of protection than you than a state citizen, right? All right. So how do you start a trust fund? Let's go through trust fund 101. All right, I see you, Karen. Let's go through trust fund 101. All right, so in order to have a trust fund, you need a trust. Write this down, number 1. You need a trust. So you can't have a trust fund without a trust. You need a trust bank account. All right, because you're going to have to do some things in the public sector, which I'm going to show you in a minute. So you're going to have to pay for what the trust owns. You're going to have to pay for the house and the car and the this and the that, all of the things that are funded in the trust fund. All right. And then you don't have to have it, but in order to succeed, have a succession plan, you need a successor trustee. Well, Coach Damont, what is a successor trustee? A successor trustee is somebody who actually takes over the reins after you expire and after you die. So because we all got to go, that's an appointment we can't cancel nor reschedule. So when you expire, if you have children, that successor trustee has to carry out your wishes. You don't know what may happen between now and tomorrow because it's not promised to any of us, but that successor trustee has to honor the contract that you put in place, which is in the instrument of your trust. All right, so trustee, remember I told you in order to have a trust, in order to have a trust fund, you need a trustee. Well, what is a trustee? A trustee is a person who acts as a custodian for the assets held within the trust. He or she is responsible for managing and administrating the financial affairs of the trust. So you can have one trustee, you can have 2 trustees, you can have 12 trustees, but I suggest that you have an odd number of trustees. I have mentees that have only 1 trustee right now because they're starting the foundation of building their trust. Eventually they'll add at least 2 more, and that's for voting privileges, right? And then they need to add a successor trustee to be able to take over in the event that they die, to make sure that everything that they need in their trust is being executed. All right, so the trust works per the instructions given. The person who creates the trust is the trustee, right? So it starts with a grantor and then it's transferred over to a trustee. And then when you expire, then whoever are the remaining trustees will then carry out the wishes of your trust. All right, the responsibilities can include recording expenses, income distributing funds, beneficiaries, distributing funds to beneficiaries, keeping records of other transactions, etc. Right? So that's the responsibility of a trustee. So I'm gonna give you a few reasons why everyone needs a trust. Let's do number 1. Write this down. All right, so number 1, I'm taking lessons with you. It brings everything together. All right. So what do you mean by that, Coach? It brings everything together. So it's the foundation. If I'm building a house, I can't build a house on dirt. I can't build a house on sand, and I can't build a house on water. I have to build a house on a solid foundation, or when a storm comes, it's gonna blow that house away. Or when I lay the first piece of wood, it's gonna sink into the water or the sand because I don't have a solid foundation. So it's the foundation of your legacy. Type a 7 in the chat if you want to build a solid legacy for yourself. All right, Landa. All right, Ebony, Yvonne. All right, Michelle, Tish, Robin. All right, so I'm in a room full of legacy builders. We can't build a legacy with just a 9 to 5 and a 401k. We can't build a legacy with just a life insurance policy that doesn't have any type of provisions or a contract attached to it to say when I die, I want my son to achieve blah blah blah, or I want my daughter to do X, Y, Z. All right, there's nothing wrong with having a life insurance policy, but something needs to control that life insurance policy, right? Which is the contract that we're talking about. All right, so it's the foundation of your legacy, and it's going to help you build wealth. All right, Let me give you the Rockefeller blueprint. The Rockefeller blueprint is simple. 1, save taxes. 2, build wealth. And 3, protect it. Save on taxes, build wealth, and protect it. That's the Rockefeller blueprint. All right, so let's map it out. This is how we build a trust fund. All right, so we first start with a trust. And we're gonna do, when we do our taxes, it's gonna be a 1040 tax return. All right. So I know we say, oh, you can eliminate taxes with a trust. Well, you still got to file. All right. So you still got to file, even if, you know, but the goal is to create non-taxable events, which that's a whole nother story. All right. And I'll walk you through that a little later. All right. So then we got 2 halves of this. We have the operation side is the first half. That's where your LLC, your C Corp, your S Corp, that's where your businesses are. And if you're a W-2 employee, that's where you're gonna operate. All right. That's where you're gonna do your write-offs and all of that stuff. All right. Then we have the other side of the wall is our assets. All right. This is how we generate passive income. This is how we build wealth. So we have 2 buckets. In bucket A, we have the tax-free bucket. Inside of the tax-free and deferred bucket is the IRA, is the 401k, and is the health savings accounts. All right, inside the B bucket, that's after taxed, right? So this is my LLCs. This is where I put my rental properties. This is where I put my investments. So my rental properties, my land, all of these things are owned by LLC, which then is owned by the trust, which I'll show you in a second. All right, so now operation side, my write-up, all of those things, they're owned by the trust. So I'm putting that into the trust. So now I'm starting to build the foundation of my trust fund to fund my trust. And then for asset protection, I'm going to put my LLCs into my trust. I'm going to put my tax free instruments, my IRAs, my 401ks, my life insurance, all of that inside my trust by making my trust the beneficiary of all these things. So now I have this wall, right? You see that line right there with the arrow? I have this wall and I want to keep things separate because I want to become lawsuit proof. I want to protect my assets. I want to make sure that nobody can touch the wealth that is on the right side of my wall, right? So on the left side of my wall is, you know, layers of protection, but on the right side of my wall that's where my money is. That's where my cash is. That's where all of the assets are that I'm building over time. All right, so who owns all of this? Somebody tell me, who owns all of this? The trust. I don't own anything anymore. All right, but somebody tell me, because I got a lot of, type of 8 in the chat if you're a trustee of your own trust. Type of 8 in the chat if you already are a trustee of your own trust. All right, I see them 8s coming. All right, I see them. All right, you're a trustee of your own trust. All right, I see them coming. All right, so you have a trust. Most of you are my mentees. You're a part of the 1% club. You have a trust, but a trust that doesn't have anything in it is just like not having a trust. So if you don't fund that trust to make it a trust fund, then it's just as if you do not have a trust. All right. So we're going to have to move our assets over. So number 1 was it brings everything together. Number 2 is it offers privacy. All right. Privacy. Somebody say privacy. As they say in church, touch the neighbor, say privacy. All right, privacy. All right. So in privacy, I know some people teach this. I do not teach it. I do not teach putting a trust in your first. I do not teach making a trust your first and last name. That's not privacy. Because if somebody wants to search and find ownership of an LLC or a corporation or an asset, you having your first and last name, the name of the trust. So if the name of the trust is Coach Damont Trust, then it's not going to be hard to find what assets are connected to Coach Damont. If Karen's assets are Karen Lloyd Trust, I know y'all like y'all names, but we want to build levels of protection and privacy. All right, protection and privacy are two different things. So privacy is something that allows you to people not to actually know that you're the owner. You don't want people to know you're the owner. All right, so that's privacy. All right, so a trust needs to be anonymous. That's why a lot of us use Wyoming when setting up our public trust, so that we can get business credit, so that we can leverage, you know, having a yacht trust and a house trust and all these different trusts that we teach inside the 1% Club. But to remain anonymous, which Wyoming has what's called anonymity. Anonymity is when you're anonymous, meaning that no one knows that you own an LLC in Wyoming. No one knows that you own a corporation in Wyoming because of anonymity. So that's anonymous. All right, so again, privacy is when you set up a trust, please do not use your first and last name. All right, so that's that's privacy. All right, number three, we want to avoid probate. We want to avoid probate. What is probate, Coach Damont? Well, probate is what Prince's family had to go through for 6 years when he died. That's probate. Probate is what Michael Jackson's family had to go through for 6 or 7 years when he died. Probate is what Aretha Franklin's family had to go through, and she had a will. So I don't even care if you have a will. If you have a will, a probate court is who determines who's going to get those assets. So probate, all right? Probate, that's what probate is. So we want to avoid probate. Probate is a court process that is set up all over America. Many of us don't know about it because most of our people don't leave us nothing, right? So imagine you have a lot of siblings and somebody leaves some land or leaves some money in a bank account or leaves some property or leaves a business. And even if you have a will, the family is still going to have to go to probate, right? All right, because now the court has to determine what happens. All right, so there's judges, there's courts, and there's probate attorneys. Probate is a big system, is a big money making system. And as you build, you don't Chadwick, Black Panther, his family had to go to probate. They paid the court over $1 million. Then they had to pay taxes because when you go through probate, that's taxable events. All right, so all dealing with people, the probate court deals with people that have died with or without a will. All right, but with a trust, you don't have to go through probate. All right, so when you pass away with a trust, you don't have to go to probate. So, quick story. One of my mentor's friends, he recently died, and he was a millionaire. But I'm not even going to talk about what he was on earth. I'm going to talk about the policy he had. So he had $1 million policy. That $1 million policy was supposed to go to his wife he had been with for 30 years. When he died and she thought that she was the beneficiary on that policy, what he found out was, now he was dead. What she found out was that he had never taken his previous wife that he had only been with for a few years off of the policy. He didn't remember. Maybe he didn't remember. You know, maybe that's not something he thought to do. So she went to the ex-wife and she said, "Hey, you know, Sam died, and I want to, you know, they still have you on the policy. It's $1 million policy. Will you sign it over to me? And tell me, I want you to tell me in the chat, what did the ex-wife say? What did the ex-wife say? Absolutely not. Correct. So what had to happen was it had to go to probate. And it stayed in probate for many years, right? I'm not sure how many years, but I know it stayed in probate. But the judge ruled against the current wife because the ex-wife said that he wanted her to have it. That's why he never changed it. But they hadn't talked for 30 years. So the ex-wife never got the $1 million. So again, sometimes we forget things, but if it had been in the trust and the trust had been a beneficiary of the life insurance policy and the wife had been the beneficiary or the trustee on the trust, then she would have got it. Make sense? All right. All right. So with probate, they pretty much, it has to go through the court process because they want to make sure that nobody had a gun up to your head when you sign that contract, which was called a will. Aretha Franklin they said she had 6 wills. So they didn't know which one was the current will. They didn't know which one was the old will. So the court had to sort it out. So most of our families don't even have a will. So that means that it will have to go through probate. If you don't have a will right now, no, if you have a will, say you go online and you make a will, it's still gonna have to go through probate, right? All right, but say right now, you say, you know what, I don't want my family to have to endure any of that stress. You know, I may not have much right now, but I plan to have a lot when I die. So I'm just gonna start the foundation and the structure of building my wealth. But even if I just have a life insurance policy, I don't want my family to have to go, I want it to be cut and dry. I don't want my kids to just get $100,000 life insurance check and then they be out of it in 6 months. I want them to have structure because that's what I bring to the table, and I work very hard for what I have, and I want them to have structure. All right. So with a will, just say for instance, so Karen owns multiple properties, right? But just say that she owns multiple properties in multiple states. So if she owns multiple properties in multiple states, when her family goes to probate, they're going to have to go through probate court in every single one of those states. So if she owns land in multiple states and she doesn't have a trust and she doesn't have all of these things inside of her trust fund, for every state that she has land in, they're going to have to go through probate court, which could last forever and it could cost a lot of money. All right. So a trust avoids all of this. All right. So now, how do we make a trust fund? Let's go through that. All right. So there's 4 things that we want to at least have in the creation and starting of our trust fund. So we want to have a home or land. And I'm going to show you in a minute how to buy land for less than $1,000. I just bought some land for $150. So nobody under the sound of my voice, is over 100 people on here. Nobody under the sound of my voice should not own some type of property, land, or real estate within the next 90 days. If I said we was taking a trip to Dubai, or we was taking a cruise, or we was going we was going to pitch in and buy a Chick-fil-A franchise, y'all would find money that y'all didn't even have. All right. So again, to start funding your trust, it's simple. All we're going to do is we're going to transfer the deeds over to our trust. If you don't own the house free and clear, that's fine. If you just buy a house and you transfer the deed over to the trust, that's fine. You can move the deed to a house in any state, in any county. Every county has exemptions. So exemptions means they allow you to be able to transfer that asset into anybody's name that you want to. So you can do a quick claim deed over to the trust, over to your friend, over to your neighbor, anybody. All right. So you want to put your home into the trust. That's how we start to fund the trust. All right. So the next thing is we're going to now put money into the trust, our money market into the trust, our stocks into the trust, our money in the bank into the trust, our 401k in the trust, our IRA to the trust. So how do I do that, coach? Simple. I go to all of the brokers or wherever I have those set up, And now instead of my children or my family or my mother or my wife or anybody else being the beneficiary, I'm going to make the trust the beneficiary. All right? Am I making sense? Or am I talking to a brick wall? All right, I'm making sense. All right. Give me 5, I'm making sense. Give me 5 yeses. Y'all with me? All right, good. Thanks, Siobhan. Y'all with me? All right, Dr. Goody. All right, so now, I see you, Sandra. All right, I see y'all in here. Y'all in here strong. All right, so now the third thing that I'm gonna do to fund my trust, because I'm building my trust fund. All right, the third thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to contact my life insurance company and agent or whoever I went through, and I'm going to change the beneficiary of my life insurance policy to my trust. All right, I'm going to make my trust the beneficiary of my life insurance policy. And then once you set up your trust, then you're going to tell your, remember, trust is a contract. Once you set up your trust, you're going to tell your trust how to distribute out to your beneficiaries. So you literally can say, hey, if my child is, I mean, some people have children. I mean, God, you know, I don't wish this on anybody, but this, in reality, we have children that do not have discipline. We have children that, some people have children that are on drugs. Some people have children that have spouses that we don't want to manipulate them. Some people have beneficiaries that, you know, you want to make stipulations. So that's what the trust allows you to do. So you're able to now put all these assets into the trust, and you're able to say, you know what? And let's be clear, the beneficiaries don't know none of this until you die. So they could be mad at you in your death, but that's fine. So you can say, hey, I'm only going to issue out $1,000 a month to my trust fund babies that are part of my trust. And in order to get anything else, they gonna have to do X, Y, and Z. All right. In my trust, I have written in my trust, I'm not, the property and the land that I'm putting in my trust can never be sold. And because I have an irrevocable trust, nobody coming after me can change this. All right. Nobody after me can change it. All right. So that's the fourth. So the fourth thing is any LLCs or corporations I have, I'm going to transfer them into the trust as well. So 4 things, 4 pillars. I'm going to put my home and land. I'm going to put my IRAs, 401ks, Roths, all that, stocks. Then I'm going to put my insurance, and then I'm going to put my LLC. So that's how you fund, literally how you fund the trust. All right. All right. So we went through that. And then when you set up, you can also set up a trust with a state. All right. Again, I told you we use a lot of different states, but this is what the certificate would look like if you set it up. So my houses are in a trust. These are some of my houses in Indianapolis. If any of you watch me, I just did a video in front of the last one that I just did when I was just in Indianapolis. You could put land inside of a trust. You could put, this is one of my rental properties I put inside the trust. This is some more of my properties inside of a trust. All this inside of a trust. This is my rental car portfolio in Miami inside of a trust. So that's part of my trust fund. All right. So let me go back to this. So if I die, no, I'm gonna say when I die, because I got to go. All right, we got to go. So when I die, if I still have this rental car business, if I haven't sold it or leveraged it in some way, all of the money that this rental car business makes goes into the trust because it's owned by the trust. So that's what helps me to create what's called the trust fund. So the distributions are determined by me, but that's based upon what the trust owes and what the trust payouts are. So if I want my beneficiaries to get $3,000 for the rest of their life, I can do that because this business and my other assets are now funding the trust. All right. So if I'm making $20,000 a month from my rental car business after all expenses, that $20,000 would go into the trust. then I determine if I want to pay out people from that $20,000. I may not. All right. It may just grow over time, and then I pay it out to the next generation. Maybe I just pay out 3,000 of the 20, but it's totally up to what I do. So I could set it at a percentage. So that's how you start building wealth to where it can last. When we start talking about will they know your name in 7 generations, they know the Lamborghini's name, the Walton's name, the Trump's name, the Forbes name, the Rockefeller name. They know it because of the structure that they set up. But it was all because somebody sat down and says, you know what? I don't trust the people coming after me, and I'm working too hard. So what I'm going to do in order to make sure that they'll know our name in 7 generations, but that we'll still have something in 7 generations, I'm going to set some restrictions. I'm going to set some guidelines, and I'm going to set some parameters. And that's the only way that you can do that is with a trust. You can't do that with an LLC. You can't do that with a corporation. You can't do that with a will, as I explained to you. A trust is a contract. So I literally am putting everything that I have, everything that I'm building inside of a trust, which then creates a trust fund, which then allows me to borrow and do things I'm gonna explain to you in just a second. All right. So this is a property that I bought for 100. And I bought this for 250. And I put it inside of my trust. Well, I'm not doing anything with it right now. I'm just going to sit on it for a while. I may build on it. I may not. My goal is to have 1,000 deeds. I bought it with a credit card. I bought it with my American Express. This is the only land trust deeds is the only way that you're able to buy real estate with a credit card. I've been doing real estate for 20 years, and I've never bought real estate with a credit card. So you're able to leverage credit. But my mentees, which I'll share with you this in a minute, my mentees are now acquiring land for through tax sales, and they're putting that land into their trust, which now is funding their trust to now maybe they just say, for instance, they may buy it in their LLC, but their LLC is owned by their trust. If it's some land that I don't ever want because it's irrevocable, the trust is, right? So if it's some land that I don't ever want sold, I'm going to transfer it over to my trust. If it's some land that I feel like that I'm going to sell or develop at some point, then I'm going to leave it in my LLC. All right. So this is a lot just to show you, like in the tax sales, this was purchased for $178. The value is over $16,000. It's just a corner parcel, but the value is based upon the comps in that area. All right. So I told you earlier, Dan Pena said, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. I want you to put in the chat, how many friends do you feel like that you have that you can actually start building a trust fund with? How many friends or family members? I want you to put the number in the chat. How many friends or family members combined do you feel like that you have that you can start building a trust fund with, that you can start buying property with, that you can, all right, I got 2, 7. Again, there's no 2, 3, 5. All right, that's good. All right, that's how you start building generational wealth. 1, 3, 8. That's how you start building it. It's all it takes is 1. All it takes is 1. All right, you start teaching your kids, you leave a structure for your children, and then they're able to build from that. Because why? Because they got to. So imagine you, I mean, I know I got young and old people on here, but imagine you 10, 15 years ago, if you had a guaranteed check coming in during some of the seasons of your life when you was struggling and you was trying to go to work and you was trying to go to school and you was trying to start a business, you was trying to work 2 jobs, and you trying to work overtime, you trying to work triple time. Imagine if you had a check coming in every month and all it said was, you know what? All you have to do to get this $3,000 a month is to run the family business. That's all you have to do. And all you have to do in order to do this is to make sure that you keep $1 million life insurance policy on yourself that will go into the trust. All right. The Rockefellers, every Rockefeller has $1 million life insurance policy on them, which I'll do a training later on family banks, but that's how you actually start building a family bank for your family. So hedge funds, let's break down hedge funds. A hedge fund is simple. I'm not going to go too deep into it. It's simple. It's a pool of investors. So it's over 100 of us on here right now. Over 100 of us say, all of us say, you know what? We're going to take $1,000 and we're going to put it into a pool. All right. So $1,000 times 100 of us on here, that gives us $100,000. So now we have $100,000 into a hedge fund. All right. That hedge fund is managed by managers. That hedge fund is regulated by the SEC once it's put together, right? So we're not going to just give anybody our money. It has to go into actually the hedge fund so that it's regulated. All right. So that means that if I have a hedge fund and everybody, we collect $100,000, and I say, everybody, the hedge fund is going to be used for real estate. And that means that I've got to use that hedge fund for real estate. I'm a manager of it. It's not my money, and it's regulated by the SEC. So I have to make sure that I report to the SEC, or I'm not going to be in compliance. All right. So also I can use, I mean, if I set it up for this purpose, I can use it for debt. So I can lend it out to people that need high interest loans, like payday loans and stuff like that. And I can do high risk loans. I can invest in crypto, whatever the purpose is. There's no hedge fund that's the same. All right. There's no hedge fund that's the same. There's hedge funds that are smaller. There's DECA hedge funds. There's lots of different types of hedge funds. So again, a hedge fund is a group of investors that say, you know what, we want a certain return on our investment. It's going to be much more than the banks. A hedge fund, people that have money in a hedge fund, they're not looking to get rich quick and become a millionaire overnight. They just want whatever that return is on their investment. All right. Sometimes it's 6%, sometimes it's 3%, sometimes it's 2%, sometimes whatever that is. All right. Whatever that the agreement is that the hedge fund manager that set it up, whatever their distributions are. All right. So is there anybody that don't understand what a hedge fund is? Anybody? So it's simple. It's a group of investors. So all of us can create our own hedge fund, and we can actually start investing in certain things together collectively. All right. So now we know that. So it's not a bank. All right. A bank is regulated by the SEC and other people, but it's not a bank. All right. It's a group of investors, and that has a manager. The manager could be anybody that is responsible for managing that hedge fund. The manager does get a fee. So if there's a manager of a hedge fund, they do get paid for managing that hedge fund. And generally it's based upon how good the hedge fund may do. All right. So again, this is one of my mentees purchased this house. It was purchased with a hedge fund. This is a lot. Right now, this lot was purchased for $100, sold for $3,500. It was sold to a hedge fund. This is a attached deed lot, $100. It was sold for $3,800. It was sold to a hedge fund. This lot over here to the left, it's a rural area. It doesn't have utilities or anything like that. So when you start buying land, I suggest if you're just getting into the buying land thing, which I'm gonna talk more about in a second, buy land like what's on the right. All right. If you see houses, if you see power lines, if you see those type of things, it's not going to be hard to get utilities onto that land or onto that lot. So when I start talking about buy, build, flip, buy, build, flip, buy, build, flip, I want you to start looking at land like this. All right. This is what I teach my mentees inside my program. All right. So again, when you buy land and property inside the tax sales, you're already buying it for a low price, lower than market value. So now you're able to take the money, which I'll show you in a second. You're able to borrow the money from a hedge fund, and that hedge fund will now give you the money to build on that property. And then they also have hedge funds that will buy that house that you build on your property. They will buy it from you after you build it. All right. I just met with a hedge fund yesterday. That's what they do. They buy new construction properties. So my mentees, my mentees are now building properties on their land using the hedge fund's money or lender's money or lines of credit that they have. And then they're going to sell it to a hedge fund. When you sell it to a hedge fund, you don't have to pay a realtor. You don't have to list it. You don't have to worry about staging it. You don't have to worry about any of that. Time you get it done and it passes inspection, you're able to literally sell it. All right. So you're probably saying these deals are too good to be true. If that's your mindset, then remember what I told y'all my TED Talk was about? It was about learning to unlearn. That means that your mind probably is not where it needs to be to go to the next level. And insanity is when you keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. So what you've been doing is not working, but when somebody says something, you say that's too good to be true, or how you go do that, or what about my credit, or that's not possible, or I know I need more money than $1,000. Then I mean, this ain't the room for you. Maybe you need to go into another room. This ain't the room for you, because I'm just being honest. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I've done, and I've lost $1 million many times. And the way I've been able to get it back every time I lost it was through real estate. So real estate to me is the safest investment, because worst case scenario, you have your house or you have your land and you have your deed. So you have something that you can touch. You have something that you could go stand on. You got something that eventually is going to increase. Imagine, I know y'all have houses, but imagine how much your house that you grew up in, imagine how much more it's worth now than from when you grew up in it. If it hasn't been torn down. So in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, real estate has always increased. We're not still buying houses for $10,000 and $12,000 like they were in the 70s. All right. So again, it's going to increase. So real estate to me is the safest investment. That's my opinion. All right. So again, hopefully I'm not in a room full of unlearners, but read this, take a screenshot if you're having some problems with your mindset. All right. Alvin Toffler said, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. That's the illiterate. So you got to be willing to learn, to unlearn, and to relearn. And that's going to be what's going to take you over the hump. I know there's some people reach out to me. They say, you know what? I feel like I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I feel like I can't get ahead. I feel like I want more, but I can't get it. I feel like I just need, I know God created me to have more, but I just don't know how to do it. You got to learn, unlearn, and then relearn. All right. So Warren Buffett said, if you don't find a way to make money in your sleep, you go work until you die. So with this blueprint that I'm about to share with you, it's to me, it's simple because I've been doing real estate for over 20 years. But for you, I just want you to understand that if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. And if you don't invest, I don't care how many businesses you start, nobody's going to tell you this because everybody's trying to make $1 million and $2 million from your business. Even if you make $1 million from your business, or to make another $1 million, you're going to have to take a portion of that, put it into marketing just to make more. You're going to have to keep reinvesting in yourself. All right, in your business. So a business does not create wealth. A business gives you the power to get the resources to create wealth. A job does not create wealth. How many aunts and uncles and grandparents and mothers and fathers do we know that have retired from Ford and Allison and GM and all these different places, and they didn't retire wealthy? So a job is not going to help you to build wealth. The only way to build wealth is by investing. And to me, the safest way to build wealth is by leveraging real estate. So if you stay to the end, again, I got a special gift for you. I'm almost done, really, honestly. But your network is your net worth. We all know that. But in real estate, there's a lot of different levels to real estate. There's fixer-uppers. I've done them all. There's the Bird method. There's short-term rentals. There's rentals. But I want to talk to you about new construction. All right, so this is my land. I just acquired 30 acres of land, partnered with my brother Rodney, and he's a GC. So he brings a lot to the table, and together we're going to build 100 houses on this land in Indianapolis. We're going to use the same method: buy, build, flip, buy, build, flip, buy, build, flip. The only difference is it's not going to be one parcel, it's going to be 100 parcels. All right. So leveraging this and leveraging a hedge fund allows us to be able to do it much faster. So yes, we can use our resources, we can use the bank's money, we can do all them things that people tell us, but leveraging a hedge fund helps you to move a lot faster, because if the hedge fund gives you the money to build and the hedge fund gives you the money, buys the property from you, then you eliminate a lot of time that you would have used trying to say, you know what, I'm gonna use this credit card, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. All right, so again, I coach the most powerful, incredible people on this earth. This is some of the people that I coach. I'm a wealth coach. I'm gonna give you the 6 steps on what I teach them. I normally charge for this, but I'm gonna give you the 6 steps. Step 1 is open up a family trust. Number 2 is to fix your credit. You can leverage a family trust by fixing your credit. You can erase debt with a trust. You can transfer debt over to a trust. All right. If you don't believe me, just set up a one-on-one call and I'll prove it to you. I got lots and lots of case studies for those of you that doubt. Step 3, protect your assets. I just showed you how to do that. Step 4, buy land with your trust. You can use business credit. Step 5 is build on your land, and then that becomes a tax-free event, meaning you don't have to pay capital gains tax. Step 6, fund your trust, meaning the money that you make from the deal, put it into your trust fund. Put the deeds into your trust fund. Put the assets into your trust fund. So I'm gonna show you some deals right now. All right. This is one of my mentees, built a container home on some land that was purchased for $1,200. All right. The sale price was $134,000. All right. To build it was $30,000. All right, I probably can build it even less now because we're getting a lot of materials over from China, even the containers. So I probably can build this for probably about $12,000, $15,000. But this was built for $30,000. The profit is $102,800. This is a container home. It has a rooftop, has stairs, and it sits on a nice piece of land. So other containers could actually go on this land as well. Let me give you another deal. All right, so this is, I'll show you this one in a second. All right, this one is a house is being built. The value of it is $334,000. The land was purchased in a tax sale for $800,000. To build it is $70,000, and the profit is gonna be $263,200. All right, so the comps are going for $334,000. That means the houses around it. The land is $800,000 to build it. Using materials from China, $70,000. The profit is $263,200. All right, there's a lot of different cities where you don't even have to be, you can be your own GC. All right, so again, let's go back. Let's go back all the way here. The money out of pocket with this deal, the only out of pocket money was $1,200, and it was recouped after the hedge fund gave the building cost of $30,000. So that was factored into the build cost. So the only thing out of pocket was $1,200, and that was to buy the land. All right, this one, the only thing out of pocket was $800. All right, the $70,000 came from the hedge fund, and the $800 was then recouped. I'll go through breakdown of the hedge fund. Let's go through how that works. All right, so this is one of my mentees is about to build this. They actually have the lot. This is the plans for what's going to go on that lot. And this is a container home. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 containers. All right. It's going to be fabricated to all go together. But the hedge fund is lending them 60% ARV. ARV is after repair value. So after repair value, in this neighborhood is going to go for $100,000. All right. So the hedge fund is only going to lend them 60% of that. All right. All right. So the loan amount is $60,000. The only thing that my mentee has to put down is 3%, which is $1,800. of the 60,000. The only thing they have to pay monthly is interest only payments, which is significantly low. All right. So 2-year interest only payments is 1.1% a month. Can somebody put in the chat what that is? 1.1% of 60,000. I want to see how many mathematicians I got in here. All right. So 1.1%, that's going to be their payment. So what we use is the 30-30-30 rule. So buy it for 30, build a rehab it for 30, and then sell it for 100, which allows you to at least be able to capitalize and make $30,000 or $40,000. But because we bought the land for so cheap, and because we're not building a traditional home here, we're building actually a container home, which gives us the same value and actually more square footage because we were able to build up. And then we did, as you see, we don't have to put a roof on it like a traditional roof like this next door in the next door house. It's a lot of different benefits. Building costs are lower. It sits on the foundation, doesn't have it. All right, so 600. So the payment on it is going to be about $660. All right, so that's not bad to be able to flip a house to make, a significant amount of money. All right, so again, I started out and I asked you a question. I said, what do you want your legacy to be? And I'm gonna ask you again. Our legacy, Maya Angelou says, is everybody that we touch along the way. So I want at least 10 people to put in the chat for me real quick and just tell me, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want it to be? What do you want to be known for? Will they know your name in 7 generations? The only way they'll know your name in 7 generations is if you leave them something. If you don't leave them nothing, they're not going to know who you are. It's going to be like you walked on this earth in 2023, and in 7 generations, which is 150 years, nobody is ever going to know that you ever walked on this earth in 2023. I don't want to be just residue and nobody knows that I was here. I want a street named after me. I'm building a street in my development. I want a street named after me. I want a school named after me. I want a real estate name. I want apartment complexes named after me. I want people to still be saying my name in 7 generations. And I want my family to look up and be like, my family's in 7 generations to be like, you know what? My grandfather or my uncle, he was an amazing man. I don't know. I never got to meet him, but he left us in a great position. And he left us with a lot of knowledge and assets and resources. How do y'all think that the Rockefeller family feels about John Rockefeller? How do y'all feel like they feel about John Rockefeller? They never met, nobody in the Rockefeller family right now never met John Rockefeller, which was the father of Rockefellers. Nobody never met him. But I bet you they're proud to say the Rockefeller name. They're proud to say that they're a Rockefeller. And we 150 years later. So I want to be like that. So I'm asking everybody, will they know your name in 7 generations? What do you want your legacy to be? Somebody said a generational fundraiser. Somebody said they want their legacy to have an education model. And there's a lot of, it's up to you what you want your legacy to be. If you don't know yet, then you got to start working on that, because if not, then you would just be somebody that just existed on this earth. So I challenge everybody under the sound of my voice, start building the foundation so that they will know your name in 7 generations. And so that your family doesn't have to go through a lot of hell when you die. All right. And some people I know in our community, some people say, well, you can't take it with us, or you can't take it with you, or that's not my problem. That's somebody else's problem. That's not right. You can't really build generational wealth if you're not helping the people that's coming behind you. Takeoff didn't have a trust. So right now, going through probate, his mother and father. Chadwick Boseman, same thing. Nipsey Hussle had a trust. So his family, his great grandkids are still going to be eating off of his Puma deal and all of his royalties and all of his masters and all of his business ventures for hundreds of years to come. All because of what? Because of his structure. So I challenge everybody that wants to build wealth. This, to me, this 30 acres that I'm a part of is a part of my legacy. These houses that's on this land will be here when I'm dead and gone. And I'm really, when I was just in Indianapolis, I went on the land, I literally cried, because it's something that Even my mentor, who's a multi-millionaire, he said, do you realize I've never, in all my years, I've never seen Black people do anything this massive, especially in this city. He said, I'm very proud of you. He said, but just understand that God has his hand on you, and don't miss this opportunity, and don't allow fear to keep you from this opportunity. Yes, you're going to do bigger and greater things than 100 houses. But he said, I don't know nobody, I don't know no African-American has ever built 100 houses. So he said, do you realize how big this is? And I really didn't until he said that when we was walking the land. So I'm challenging you. Yours may not be 130 acres right now. Yours may be I'm challenging you to do one a year. One a year. Buy a bill, flip. Buy a bill, flip. One a year. One a year. Makes 30,000 or 6 figures or whatever you're able to make from that deal. But take that money, keep reinvesting it, and I guarantee you over time it's going to accumulate. And you're going to look up in 5 and 10 years and you're going to be like, real estate has really been good to me. I got friends that are in real estate, and this is a before and after of some other land, right? So again, you have to be able to see the vision, and you have to understand, well, how do I buy land for cheap? Well, you gotta go to the tax sale, or you gotta become a part of my mentorship if that's something you choose to do. But don't take my word for it. This is Karen. Karen she doesn't make too many deals without calling me as her coach. She owns her houses free and clear. She drives a Mercedes. She does a lot of things. I'm very proud of her. She's one of my good friends. But again, we all need a coach or a mentor to help us go to the next level. This is Rod. As he says in his testimonial, that I've helped him to go to the next level, because what I did, no, I'm not perfect, but what I did was I made a lot of mistakes in my early years. I told you I made my first million at 24 years old. I lost it at 27. Why did I lose it at 27? Because nobody never taught me how to keep it. So because of the mistakes that I made at an early age, I'm able to now teach my mentees, which allows them to be stronger and more powerful. And now they're able to unite with each other. Now they're able to have protection. Now they're able to learn the things that my billionaire mentor has taught me. This is Andrea Reed. She's a significant part of our team. If you're a part of the 1% Club, I'm sure you see her inside the Slack channel every single day. But I've helped her and her husband, and she attributes a lot of their success with credit and the foundation that they have to me being their coach. This is another one of my mentees, Eric. He's in Florida. This is another one of my mentees, Gilly. He's in Atlanta. This is another one of my mentees. This is Karen's son. He started his Airbnb business, which he still has. Has a 5-star rating, and he is a super host. I'm very proud of Rufus. This is LaShawn. She's a part of my program. She's one of my mentees. She's a trustee. She has her own trust. She attributes a lot of her success to me. And when we start talking about legacy, my legacy is all these people that I'm showing you they face. I'm not perfect again, but again, I made a lot of mistakes, and now I'm able to teach them not to make these mistakes. This is Michelle and Dom Harris. They're part of my program. They attribute a lot of what they have and done to me helping them to build the foundation. This is Kerry. Kerry is he's one of our youngest trustees, one of my youngest mentees, but he just bought his first piece of land down to the far right, and this is his testimonial.
Hi, my name is Kerry Young. Today I'm going to be doing a review for Coach Damont and his Land Trust Club. From my experience, it's been very, very positive. The community there is very good. They walk you through everything step by step, so there's no kind of any question that you have that they'll answer. Everything's laid out as far as all the information that you need. The land, how to obtain the land, what do you do once you get the land, just everything's laid out plain and simple. And the team is very engaging. They'll answer all your questions. Coach Damont is very involved, so he's not one of those teachers that just kind of like you don't hear from him, you just talk to the team. Like he's very involved in everything. And I can say, because I'm part of the 1% as well, part of his 1% Land Trust, even his Debt Deletion team, they're very, very informative, very very good at what they do. They're very fast results as well. And yeah, all I can say is just very, very positive review for myself. I can say that those in the community as well can say the same. Lots of information, lots to learn, but it's fun. It's very inspiring to see what you can do with this type of information as far as buying land at a tax sale and potentially scaling up to 3 or 4 times its value, even building on it and getting even more out of the land. So I highly recommend it. And yeah.
All right, again, Kerry's one of the youngest people in my program. This is his land that he just acquired right here in this red box. I'm super proud of him. Now he's able to put this inside his trust. Once he gets his deed, he's able to transfer it to his trust, which then starts funding his trust. So now he has a trust fund, and then he'll be able to leverage the hedge fund to build on that land if he chooses to, or he could leave it in his trust, or he could say, you know what, I want to flip it and I want to make some money, and that's pretty much it. So this is Andrea again. She went through the debt deletion process. She had some items taken off her credit. You're able to use a trust to remove debt. You also have which is called debt deletion. And then you also have the structure. This is a structure. Take a screenshot of this, everybody. Take a screenshot of this. If you don't get anything else, make sure that you have your structure correct. Make sure that your foundation is solid. Make sure it's okay to have an LLC, but the LLC is not a one-all be-all. LLC is limited liability. So if something happens and somebody sues your LLC, they still can take everything that you own. Let's be clear. There are people that literally pierce LLCs. There are lawyers that literally work to pierce LLCs. A trust cannot be pierced. So let's start making sure that we have our foundation in place. Again, I told you a trust can allow certain types of trust. There's certain provisions. A trust is a contract. So there's certain types of trust that allow you to be able to eliminate taxes. It has to be in the contract. There are certain type of trusts that allow you to be able to erase debt. It's written in the contract. So every trust doesn't do the same thing. There's over 150 different types of trusts. But this is the way the debt deletion process works. It starts with a family trust, then your debt goes, it's moved into the trust, and then it's invalidated. Then it goes through the entire process. That's part of the invalidation of debt part. All right, so the trust has everything. So nothing can be taken from you. All right, so again, what is the 1% Club? The 1% Club is the foundation of setting up your trust and doing all of your trust bank account, all of the things that you need to do. If you're saying, hey, I want to be a part of either the 1% Club, or coach, I want to be a part of your mentorship, or I just want to learn more. There's nobody on here that shouldn't say, you know what, I want to learn more. I just want to try the academy and see what I can learn. The academy is $39 a month. I've got hundreds of people inside of my academy, and I do Zoom calls. They have immediate access to the training. They have access to my list. They have access to learning how to do their due diligence. They have access to my auction list. That's the academy. The academy does not include mentorship, but it includes the education. So if you say, hey, I want to get educated right now. I just want to learn, coach, or like, what do I need to do? What are the next steps? I don't have a lot of money, but what are the next steps? I would say join my academy. Join my academy and then join the mentorship later on. Right now, if you're saying, you know what, I need mentorship, I need a trust, I need debt deletion, I need all these different things. Today and today only, I'm willing to give you all of them together. All right. So I'm going to give you my 100X mentorship. It's $29.97 or 3 payments of $12.97. So what you get is you get live events. I go on Zoom a few times a week with my mentees in my 100X program. You also get access to a weekly private mentorship calls. You also get access to our private chat. You also, we're ready to go to Detroit next week to look at over 2,000 properties in the Detroit land sale. You can go with us. So if you join today, you'll get an invite to the Detroit. We'll be going to Detroit on next Wednesday and Thursday. So you can get access to that as well. So we actually will be going, looking at the land, doing our due diligence. You'll be able to run any deals through me before you actually bid on the property. All of my mentees, typically they work together. if there's an auction as well. And then there are some properties that we may pull our money together and we may do it all together as a unit. Today and today only, I'm combining these two programs, which is 1% Club and my Land Trust Club. So you're able to join the Land Trust Club, and then you also have the benefits of the 1% Club. So you have the Private Trust Club, meaning that you can set up your trust. All right. If you want us to set up your trust, it'll be another $500. All right. Debt deletion, we'll transfer 16 accounts for you, up to 16 accounts for you over to your trust. I guarantee results within the first 30 days. We just started a new process, and I guarantee if you're already in debt deletion, you'll be getting an update from us in the next 7 days. But if you join the debt deletion club, you'll be able to get access to the debt deletion club only if you join today. And then you get access to the Rockefeller Club. The Rockefeller Club is where you get access to start to open up your own family bank. We have a qualified wealth strategist that will work with you to look at your current wealth structure, to look at your current life insurance policy, to look at your current all of the things that you may have and let you know whether it's good or whether it's not. They also help you set up a life insurance policy connected to your trust so that you know that it's properly structured. Then we have a funding club that allows you to get funding. So once your credit gets to a certain level, we can help you get funding, right? So my mentees right now, they also have access to my Wealthy CEO program. My Wealthy CEO program is where you're able to build business credit and get funding. And then we have the Multiple Millions University, where we have a lot of videos in there. We pretty much teach you Airbnb and all those different things. So again, take a screenshot of this. For today and today only, you go to landtrustclub.com and you sign up for 100X, and you will get all of these things that I promise you. If you wait till next week, you will not. You will only get what is in box number 2. All right. I'm just doing it for today. Again, I want to get some of you that want to meet us in Detroit. I want to get you to come to Detroit and meet with us. And you can meet with me. And again, I got some special things that I'm doing for my mentees there. But if you join 100X today, you'll also get invited to Detroit, and you'll be able to look at properties. A lot of those properties are going to be selling for $100, $500, $1,000. I'm only looking at land. You may say, hey, I want a house. It's totally up to you. But I'll walk you through the deal, and I have over 20 years of experience in real estate. I'll walk you through how to do the deal. Again, take a screenshot with this. This is everything that you'll get if you join today. You'll also get my 100X mentorship, where I help you to start buying, building, flipping real estate. All right. So if you're on Instagram or you're online, text me and I will, or DM me, and I will make sure that you have the link. Again, every member has a trust. We got to make sure that we start a trust fund, because all of your land you're going to put into your trust. So join now. I got NFL players in my program. I got all kinds of people in my program, people that do stocks, people that have made Aristotle on the screen. He's made millions of dollars doing day trading. All right. Then I help my mentees buy land and have access to my hedge fund. So if you're saying, you know what, I need the capital, coach, that's what's holding me back. I'm able to help you to be able to use the leverage, the hedge fund or private lenders to be able to help you to build on your land. So again, this has been a great class. Hopefully those of you, if everybody has learned from this, but if you want to join this program, I'm willing to teach you. I'm willing to mentor you. I'm willing to make you a part of my community. You'll instantly have instant access to whatever I promised you. And you'll instantly have access to my community where I'll be going live tomorrow, actually. Right now, I'm inside of the 1% Club, Louisiana. I'll just show you just a little bit before I close out. And I'm inside of our 1% Club, Louisiana. Take you outside. So we have a location in Houston. Some people you can't even pull up to. You can pull up to us. That's our sign right there, 1% Club. So we have a location in Houston. We have a location in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And then we also have one that's coming in Atlanta, Georgia. I'll just give you a brief tour. This is the first time I've ever done this because we do our grand opening tomorrow. So as you see, the 1% Club. All right, so if you want to be a part of the 1% Club or a part of my mentorship, make sure that you sign up today. I'll be personally reaching out to everybody that joins my program inside of our private community. And I look forward to working with everybody that wants to get into real estate. Again, 90% of millionaires are created in real estate. You can't keep talking about what you want to do. You actually have to take action. $39 a month. If you say, hey, I don't have no money, coach, but I just want to start learning about the tax sales. I want to start learning how I buy, build, flip, protect. How do I buy, build, flip, protect? Like a lot of people talking about getting the bag and starting all these different businesses. You cannot build wealth without investing. I don't know what people telling y'all. You cannot build wealth without investing. You have to have some type of level of investing, right? You can leverage your equity in your home. You can leverage your 401k. You can leverage your IRA and put it in real estate. That's what I do. But again, everybody, make sure that you start looking and making sure that you have a trust fund and a hedge fund. Type a 7 in the chat if you've learned something today. I'm about to go, G-O. Type a 7 in the chat if you've learned something today. 7 in the chat. I got a lot of 7s. All right, so now my work has not been in vain. All right, so everybody has learned something. So I've done my job. Again, I got a special bonus for those of you that join my program today. You definitely will be a part of the 1% Club. We definitely will make sure that you go through the debt deletion process, and we definitely will make sure that you have access to your trust. So again, everybody have a great night.